we are going to look at the song Starlight Star for the recorder. So make sure you've got your recorder. The very first thing that we're going to be looking at is we've got our treble clef. That tells us what the notes are. So give me a thumbs up, fingers out. Our fingers are going to be the line notes. Between our fingers, those are our space notes. So echo after me or say it with me if you remember it. E, G, B, D, F. These are the lines of the treble clef. Now we're going to go to our spaces, starting on the bottom space. F, A, C, E. It's as easy as can be. The next thing we're going to look at is this time signature. The time signature is telling us how many beats are in a measure, and a measure is the space between these bar lines. So this right here, this space between, that is called a measure. So we should have 4 beats in a measure. So if we were keeping a steady beat between each one of these bar lines, we would have 4 steady beats. All right, I'm going to erase this. Now we're going to look at the note names. Now this song is a pretty simple song because it only has 2 notes. I almost said 3. It only has 2 notes. So we're going to figure out what those notes are. So let's look at this first note right here. I'll get a different color of pen. I'll just stay with that. This note right here, is that a line note or is it a space note? If it's a line note, that means the line should go directly through the middle of the note head. And if it's a space note, it means there should be a line on the top and a line on the bottom. So what do you think it is? It is a space note. Now, what space is this first note on? So if you've got your thumb up and your fingers out, that bottom space on my staff would be right here. And that, our spaces spell the word face. So on my hand staff, I've got F. Always start from the bottom. F, A, C, E. So our bottom space right here that I've colored in, that is the note F. Our second space, I'll color that in right there so you can see it, is right here. That is the note A. Do you see any A's in our music? Yeah, the second note right here is the note A. It is on the same space. Our third space, which is right there, F, A, C. Oh, that's the space that we're starting on. So our very first note on our music is the C. And then our fourth space, which on our hand staff is right here, that is the E. So F, A, C, E. Space spells face. So I'm going to erase those markings really quick. And then now that we know that we start on a C and we go to an A, we've already discovered that those are the only 2 notes in this song. So if you've got your recorder, you're going to put your thumb and your middle finger together. Then your thumb is going to go on the back hole. Middle finger counts down to the second hole. Make sure that you can put that pointer finger down. Just tap it a few times. Make sure you've got it. Check that you've got gentle, warm air, like you're fogging up a window, or in my case, my glasses. That is the kind of gentle air. The other thing that we're going to be doing is tonguing, where we're going to be thinking do-ish. Do, 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 do. With every note that we play, we want to make sure we stop the air with our tongue. It's called tonguing. And it's something that they use in every woodwind instrument, which this is. So our first note, again, we're going to go to the C. So fingers ready. Then after that, we go down to the A. Those are the only 2 notes. Now, before we go any further, let's go ahead and read just the rhythm using our tas and tatis. So starting right here, that first measure, which again is the space between the bar lines, even though there's no bar line right here, that time signature kind of acts as a bar line. So our very first measure only has tas, and everything else has tas and tatis, but we don't have rests. We don't have any other kind of note that might trip us up. So get your recorder ready. You're going to tap the recorder in your hand and say our rhythm with tas and tatis. 1, 2, ready, go. Ta, 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 ti, ta, ti, ta. Look at the second line. See if you can say the second line by yourself. Ready, go. Hopefully that you can see that last measure a little bit. I know this video is maybe obstructing a little bit. Let's look at that second line. I'm going to tap it and say the rhythm with you this time. Ready, go. Ta, ti, ta, ta, ti, ta, ta, ti, ta, ti, ta, ti, ta. So now let's go back to our first note right here, all colored in purple pink. So get your C ready to go. Make sure your pointer finger is ready to tap down. So it's going to go ta, and then we drop it down to the A, ta, ta, ta. So we're just going back and forth. C, A, C, A. See if you can play that first measure. Ready, go. Now look at the second measure. Where are we starting? Are we starting on the C or the A? We're starting again on the C, but then we go down to the A and it's faster because it's tati. C, A, C, C, A. Ooh, see if you can play that. If you need to pause this video at any time and practice it, that would be a really great thing to do. Let's look at the third measure right here on the bottom. We're starting on C. Every measure starts with a C. So when you're reading music, it's really good to be able to pick out patterns right away. And in this piece of music, we can figure out that every single measure starts with a C. Some of the measures are also pretty similar. Most of the measures are pretty similar. So you can pick out the different patterns to help you play it successfully. So get your C ready to go. Let's just see if we can say the note names, sing the note names in the correct rhythm. So we start on C. C, C, A, C, C, A. Now see if you can play it. Are you making sure to be thinking in do-ish? Do, 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 do. And are you also checking to make sure you have really warm, gentle air? These are the things that are going to make it sound really nice. Now let's look at our last measure, which is starting right here. This is our note that we're starting on, also starting on C. Let's sing it in our rhythm and then we'll play it. C, C, A, C, C, A. Now play it. Now, it's really helpful to take it one measure at a time, and then you can combine two measures. So let's look at the very top line and see if we can play that. Maybe first start out by just singing the note names. C, A, C, A, C, A, C, C, A, and then playing it. And if I'm going too fast, you can pause it and take it at a slower tempo. Look at the second line, the bottom line. Practice singing it with the correct rhythm and then playing it. C, C, A, C, C, A, C, C, A, C, C, A. Now play it. Ready? Here you go. Now, once we've got those two halves taken care of and we're feeling pretty good, again, if you need to pause this video and practice, you can do that at any time. Let's go ahead and see if we can play the whole song together. So sit up really tall. Check those things that you need to make sure. Make sure you've got finger warts so you can see where you're covering up those holes. If your recorder is not sounding the way my recorder is sounding, check and make sure you're really pushing down on those holes. Because it might be, if you're squeaking or if it sounds kind of weird or different, it might just be that you're not covering up those holes all the way. So 1, 2, from the beginning, ready, go. How did you do? This is a song probably most of you know. I'm just going to sing it just to help those of you who might not know this song. It goes like this. Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. Wish I might have this wish I wish tonight. You can also practice singing it with so me, so me, so me, me, so me, so me, so me, so me, me, so me. All right, I cannot wait to see you practice this and report back on to Seesaw.